Welcome to Twin Bush. There's a new tips and tricks episode. Today we'll show you how to professionally lubricate these joints in the scissor elements on a scissor lift. For your information, this is the axis for a scissor element. Of course, the joint has no steel set against steel here, but there's rather a bearing sleeve inside this component. It's a steel sleeve. It is bronzed on the outside and there's a sintered metal layer inside. The sintered metal layer has certain emergency properties in case of lack of lubrication. The sintered metal absorbs some of the grease and releases it over time. Nevertheless, I recommend to grease to lubricate the lift regularly. This should be done yearly for commercial use. For private use, you just have to check how it looks. That's how this bolt is installed. This axis has a grease nipple here. A push-type grease gun with a pointed tip is required here. The grease is pushed through it, escapes through the lubrication holes. Then it's distributed around the bearing sleeve and the whole thing is well lubricated. I'll show you a push-type grease gun with pointed tip. They're found in every hardware store. The grease comes in from the back. And the grease comes out at the front as a result of collision. This tip is set exactly on top of the ball on the axis, on the bolt, and pushes the grease in. I'll show you this now. Lubricating the joint bolt, for example, is a bit uncomfortable now. As you can see, the push-type grease gun is still somewhat long. This is because it was recently filled, and this pusher is pressed in over time as it releases grease. At some point it will fit behind here too, but I can also set it on top of the ball with a slight angle, and the grease can be pushed in like this. If you take a look inside, you'll see how the grease comes out through the joint. So, set the grease gun everywhere you see a grease nipple. Lubricate properly until the grease comes out from the joint. It's the same with the S310E model. It also has these special grease nipples installed which require this push-type grease gun with pointed tip. There are conventional grease nipples installed on the S319 model. A common hand lever grease gun can be used here. Those are the ones with the lever and the little hose. It's clipped on the grease nipple and pumped with two hands until the grease comes out. Now you may ask yourselves why we have some models with the normal grease nipples and others with the funnel grease nipples where the pointed tip is needed. It's due to the fabrication design. We'll show you the procedure on the S310E as well. All axis. All joints have this grease nipples with the small ball inside, for which the pointed tip is required again. Set on top of the ball is then pushed backwards, and now pump strongly. Until you see the grease coming out between the bearings. There's nothing special about which grease should be used for the joints. Normal multi-purpose grease is used, which can be found in any hardware store or simply somewhere online. For other joints like these plastic gliders on the base of the S310E model, for example. You can also lubricate the pivot point area here very simply with the normal G-Tronics multi-spray, which we also sell. It's really good. Spray under the glider, then it will slide. There won't be any creaking or anything else then. If you take a good look, the wheels which roll on the axis are located under the platform. Here you can spray on the axis as well. In the end, anything that moves or turns should be lubricated somewhere. He who lubricates well Drives well.